Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing, man? Antonelli here.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How we doing? Matt Antonelli here. Today, answering questions for you guys, doing a little Q&A. Have not done this in a while. Baseball season is right around the corner, and so wanted to answer some questions today. Today's question is, what are some of the biggest differences between the minor leagues and the major leagues? And we're going to kind of talk about on-field stuff, okay? There's so many differences, but I want to give you some of the major on-field things that I remember that were differences between, again, the minor leagues and the major leagues. Okay, so I jotted a couple things down. The first thing is the minor leagues is really about developing players, and the major leagues is about winning, and that is it. Like, you better help us win, and if you don't help us win, see you later. Okay, and I really remember feeling this pretty quickly, and it feels like a very big change because, again, in the minor leagues, honestly, the teams like don't even really talk a lot about winning. Again, most of the focus is all on, okay, we're trying to get you guys ready for the major leagues. We're trying to develop you, right? And so they'll tell you a lot. Like, listen, don't focus so much on the results. We're working on, again, the process and what it's going to take to make you a better player and a big league player. And then all of a sudden you get to the major leagues and you've been hearing that for a while. And then it's like, I don't give a you know what about how you do it or what you look like or just freaking get it done and help us win the game. Like that's pretty much it. Okay, so that is a pretty big change. And again, I remember feeling that pretty quickly. It's like, if you don't play well, we're not just going to keep putting you out there. Like, you're going to go to the bench, and then you're going to go back to the minor leagues, and then you'll never come back again. Okay, so that is a big difference between the levels. Okay, the next big thing, at least for me, and again, I was a hitter, right? I was an offensive player. Is you could potentially face stud arm after stud arm after stud arm over and over and over again. Okay, so there's certain teams, and again, all these guys they're in the major leagues for a reason. They're the best pitchers in the world. But I remember, like, my first game ever, I faced Greg Maddux, who's a Hall of Famer, and then game two they threw Clayton Kershaw. All right, and so and I don't remember who they threw game three, but I'm sure it was someone really, really good. Right, and then we go and play the Giants, and again, this was my first year, was 2008, and they threw Matt Cain, who, Matt Cain back then was filthy, and then they threw Tim Lincecum, right? And so it's just like arm after arm after arm after arm, and sometimes you're playing teams that have multiple All Stars, or maybe even multiple guys that have won Cy Youngs, and so it's really easy um, to be like 0 for 25 real fast, like, because there's so many really, really good arms, great arms, not good arms, great arms that you're going to face. And then you've got the bullpen, which, again, guys in the bullpen, you face bullpen guys who are getting paid multi-million dollars, right? So the closers, some of the closers are just ridiculous, but just any bullpen arm, right? You come from the minor leagues where it's like, again, in AAA, I got called up from AAA. AAA is filled with a bunch of guys that, the good players, but most of the guys in AAA are guys that either they're young players that are still trying to get up to the major leagues, or they're guys that have kind of bounced back and forth from the major league. So they have some ability and they can play in the major leagues, but they just aren't able to stick there, right? And they kind of bounce back and forth. And so there's a big gap between them and then when you're facing, Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander, right? There's a big difference there. And you've got to deal with that on a nightly basis a lot. So it's again, it's not even so much the velocity, but just the off speed stuff and the ability to command the off speed stuff and the ability to throw the off speed stuff, like plus stuff at any count, so you really don't ever know what pitch is coming. A lot of times in the minor leagues, it's like, okay, it's 2-0, I'm getting a fastball. It's 3-1, I'm getting a fastball. And a lot of times in the major leagues, it's like, it's 3-1, and I'll throw you anything, and I can throw it for a strike, and so it's just hard to be able to sit on what you want. A lot of times you got to sit on what you're going to get, and so it's just a big difference. It's a big difference from the minor leagues to the major leagues. Okay, then the next thing is the defense, and again, you get some good defenders in AAA, but in the big leagues, there's some guys that are like the best defenders in the world, right? Like, I remember in our division, play the Rockies, and Troy Tulowitzki's playing shortstop. I remember my first game. I got infield hit, but it should have been an easy hit. I hit a ground ball in the hole, and Tulo went in the hole and backhand it, and he did one of those Jeter jump throws, or actually he does a little differently. It wasn't like a Jeter. It was like a, I don't even know. He just caught it and like just turned and whipped it. You know how he does that throw. And it was like bang, bang. And I might have even been out. There was no instant replay back then. But I remember hitting it and I'm running and I'm like, okay, that's a hit. And then like you get the sense, you feel the first baseman starting to stretch. And you're like, why is he stretching? And then boom, and your foot hits and the ball's there. And I'm like, what the hell? And luckily he called me safe. I remember I gave one of these. When I hit first, I gave one of those. And one of our coaches was like, don't do that. And I was like, okay. And then you play the Giants were in our division, and they had Omar Vizquel at shortstop. And the same thing happened to me against Omar. I hit a little ball in the hole, and I was like, that's a hit. And Vizquel did the backhand jump throw, and it was the same thing. I just beat it out. And I'm like, what the hell? These should be easy hits, and these are really hard hits for me to get. I remember Escobar from, who's he with now? The Brewers. Back then he was with who was he with? The Royals? I can't remember. No, I think it was the Brewers back then. Yeah, that's what I mean. It was with the Brewers back then. Now he's with the Royals, I think. I don't know. But anyways, that happened to me. I remember I hit the ball in the hole and I was like, that's a hit. And then I'm running down first base line and I feel the first baseman about to stretch and I'm like, boom, out. I went back to the dugout. I'm like, what just happened? Like, oh, Escobar took it, he jumped through, and he threw it 128 miles an hour across the infield, and he got you out. So that's the stuff you're dealing with just in the infield. But then you've got guys like Mike Trout in center field that are covering the entire outfield, and so it's hard. You get pitching, and you've got great defense, and you just have to be a really good hitter, right? That's why I'm like, I watch the guys that are able to hit year in and year out, and they make it look so easy. I'm just like, how is that possible? How good are these guys to be able to do that? It's crazy. So another big difference. What else did I write down here? The other thing, and as much as, I think I put videos in the past about this and said it wasn't a huge deal, but to be on TV and to play in big stadiums every single night, the stadium thing you kind of get used to. At first, I'm not going to lie, the first game, like I played in Dodger Stadium and there's like 50,000 people there watching and it's pretty loud and that takes a little bit of adjusting, okay? In the minor leagues, you'll play in some big stadiums, but not like that, okay? But then to always have your games on TV, not that it's always on national TV, but people can always watch you. And people watch you on, MLB Network and SportsCenter and all this stuff. I remember, I've told this story before. We're playing against the Brewers, and Prince Fielder hit a ball down the line, and I go out for the cut. It goes in the right field corner, and my right fielder, Brian Giles, throws me the ball, and I catch the ball, and I turn, and Ryan Braun was rounding third. And I remember, I was like, oh, I got him out by, a mile. Why is he running? I know why he's running now. Because I take the thing and I go to throw it 100 miles an hour and I threw it about 50 feet over the catcher's head and it smashes up against the net and guys are running all over the bases. And so I'm like, geez. So after the game, I'm laying in my hotel room and I'm putting on TV and I like to always watch SportsCenter back in the day. Now I don't even know if anyone watches SportsCenter anymore. And I put on the SportsCenter and all of a sudden it's like Brewers-Padres game and then they show Prince Fielder hitting the ball on the right field line and I'm like, where's the remote? Change the channel as fast as I can so I don't have to watch myself throw it off the net. So you have that stuff and I can't watch SportsCenter anymore because I'm making errors on TV and then I got friends calling me like, hey dude, nice throw last night. I'm like, so that is a big difference from the minor leagues. In the minor leagues, nobody knows what the hell's going on. Nobody's watching my AAA games or watching the box scores except for maybe my family. And then all of a sudden you get to the major leagues and anything that happens, usually bad stuff for me, people are talking about it or you're watching it on TV and stuff. So that is definitely a huge difference. As much as some people say oh, it's not that big of a deal. That's never happened to you at any other level. It doesn't happen in high school and college and minor leagues anywhere, except for the major leagues. It's a totally different ball game. So those are some of the really big differences. Obviously, I could name 100 different things, and we've talked about it in the past. But those are some things that really, really stand out that make the game, game really different from the minor league. So let me know in the comment section below if you have any other questions. Let me know if I missed out on stuff. I will try to answer. I try to answer every single question down there. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Shoot a comment to me. All that good stuff. Check the description box below. And that's all we got. Thanks so much again, guys. I appreciate y'all watching, and girls, and we'll talk to you later.